You get home, you close the door behind you, and something in you just drops. Not because anything terrible happened today, not because of one big thing you can point to, just this heavy, quiet exhaustion that sits in your chest and doesn't move. You lie on your bed still wearing your shoes. You open your phone not because there's something you want to see, but because staring at it is easier than sitting inside your own head. You scroll past people who seem to be living fully, laughing, traveling, building things, loving people, and you don't feel jealous exactly. You just feel far away from all of it, like you're watching life through glass. And somewhere in that moment, a thought surfaces that scares you a little. You don't want to die. That's not it. You just wish you could stop having to try so hard just to exist. If that resonates, this video is for you. And before anything else, we want to say clearly, there's nothing wrong with you as a person. What you're experiencing has a name, a cause, and a way through. Let's talk about all three. What's actually happening inside you? Psychology calls this state existential exhaustion, and it's more specific than burnout and more invisible than depression. Here's a way to picture it. Imagine your mind is a phone. From the outside, the screen looks normal. But inside, there are 40-something apps running at the same time in the background. One app worrying about money, one processing an unresolved conversation from 3 weeks ago, one tracking whether you're being a good enough friend, child, partner, employee, one quietly grieving something you never fully let yourself grieve. None of these apps are open on your screen. Nobody can see them running, but they are draining your battery constantly. So you sit down to do nothing, genuinely nothing, and you still feel exhausted because you weren't doing nothing. Your brain was running a silent marathon behind everything. Research from Cornell University found that the average adult makes approximately 35,000 decisions per day. What to wear, which route to take, whether to respond to that message now or later, what to eat, whether that comment someone made meant something. Our ancestors worried about predators and food. Evolution has not caught up to the world we're now navigating. When the decision-making center of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets pushed past its limit, something called decision fatigue sets in. At that point, even the smallest choice feels like too much. Someone asks what you want for dinner, and it genuinely, almost embarrassingly, feels like too much to answer. That's not weakness. That's a brain that has been pushed to its edge. When you stop being able to feel things. There's a specific shift that happens when exhaustion goes deep enough, and it's one of the most frightening parts of this experience. You stop being able to feel things properly. Psychology has a name for this too, anhedonia. It's not sadness exactly. Sadness at least has texture. This is emptiness. The things that used to light you up, a new film you'd been waiting for, a night out, a song you loved, you look at them now and nothing happens. You know logically that these things are enjoyable. Your body just doesn't produce the response anymore. The reward system in your brain runs on dopamine. When it's been overloaded for long enough, it starts responding slowly to everything. You watch 10 minutes of a show and turn it off, not because it's bad, but because you don't have enough feeling left to keep going. You go through your days like someone reading the script of their own life without actually being in it. And the most painful part is you remember who you used to be, the version of you that felt genuinely excited about things, that looked forward to tomorrow, and you miss that person in a quiet, constant way. Why you rewatching the same show isn't laziness. When the nervous system gets pushed to its limit, it starts searching for safety. And this is where behaviors appear that other people misread completely. Rewatching the same series for the 4th time, scrolling for hours through content that doesn't actually interest you, choosing the familiar and the predictable over anything new. People who don't understand what you're going through will call this laziness or a lack of discipline, but psychology explains it differently. When your nervous system is overwhelmed by unpredictability, it craves something it can count on. You rewatch that show because you already know exactly what happens. No surprises, no emotional demands, no plot twist that's going to require you to feel something you're not prepared for. Your body is looking for safety, and it found it there. This isn't avoidance in the lazy sense. It's your nervous system doing the only thing it knows how to do right now. Protect what's left. Why you're pulling away from the people who care about you. This part is one of the most isolating pieces of this experience, and it rarely gets talked about honestly. Someone you genuinely care about sends you a message. Something simple. Hey, how are you? Want to catch up? And instead of feeling warm about it, you feel a low dread, because your brain immediately starts calculating the cost, getting ready, traveling there, sitting and holding a conversation, managing your expression, pretending to be okay, listening to their life and generating responses. The social performance of being a person. You love them, that's not the question. You just have nothing left right now. And the idea of pretending you do feels genuinely impossible, so you leave the message, or you reply days later with something vague, and then the guilt settles in on top of everything else you're already carrying. This withdrawal isn't coldness. It's a person running on empty, trying to protect the last drop they have. Understanding that, really understanding it, changes how you see yourself in those moments. 3 things that actually help. First, take the mask off, even temporarily. Carl Jung wrote about the persona, the social face we present to function in the world. When you're this exhausted, maintaining that mask burns enormous energy. Every forced smile, every "I'm fine," every cheerful emoji sent when you feel like you're barely holding together. You don't have to keep performing. Give yourself permission to tell the people closest to you something simple and honest. My battery is very low right now. I'm going quiet for a bit. It's not about you. I just need to breathe. That honesty removes the pressure of pretending, and removing that pressure gives your system actual room to recover. Second, reduce the number of decisions you make each day. Your prefrontal cortex is already at its limit. Stop asking it to do more unnecessary work. Simplify your clothing choices, your meals, your daily structure. Make as many things as possible automatic and predictable. This isn't giving up. This is giving your brain the break it's been needing. When the nervous system stops having to process constant variables, it sends out a signal of safety, and that tightness in your chest, slowly, quietly, begins to ease. Third, understand the difference between junk rest and real rest. 4 hours of scrolling feels like doing nothing. But neurologically, your brain is still working, processing images, sound, information, dopamine spikes and crashes, one after another. That's why you can spend an entire evening on your phone and feel more drained afterward than before. Real rest means cutting sensory input completely. Phone in another room, lying on your back, eyes closed, no music, no podcast, no screen, just 15 or 20 minutes of actual stillness. Your nervous system will resist this at first. It's been running so long that stopping feels strange and uncomfortable. Stay with it. Past the first 5 minutes, something shifts. Your body begins doing what it has been trying to do the whole time, actually rest. One last thing before we end. If you're in your winter right now, and you'll know what that means, we want to say this directly to you. The fact that you're still here, still getting through your days, still waking up even when everything in you wants to stay down, that is not a small thing. That is not nothing. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not failing at life. You are exhausted in a way that most people around you cannot see, carrying weight that doesn't show from the outside, getting through days that are genuinely harder than they look. You're allowed to operate at 30% right now. You're allowed to be quiet. You're allowed to need rest that doesn't look productive. You're allowed to exist without performing. If today's only achievement was that you kept breathing, that's enough. That is genuinely enough. Winter always passes. You just have to still be here when it does.